we're meeting with new DLC director, Bob Dorfman, so he can hear from licensees directly in my district. Yeah, good to see you again. How are you? And they can get their questions answered.
I buy sometimes 25, 30 cases of Budweiser cans, simple beer. They don't come with the beer. I call the DLC and they say, oh, we don't have it this week, we send it next week.
We carry more Budweiser beer in our warehouse than we probably ought to in terms of days worth of inventory. Something's not right. So before I leave, give me your name. I will get back to you today with an answer.
I had a conversation within the last year and a half with some folks at the DLC, and I said, would you guys be willing to put something on your website that says, here are some other local producers that you can buy directly from? And the response I got was, why would I do that? You're a competitor of ours.
Our job is to be the best representative of Montgomery County and Maryland distillers, wineries, and breweries that we can. It's in our best interest also, and that we have proper representation in our stores in addition to helping you market your product, that you're successful.
I think it's terrific. We have a great new experienced DLC director with a lot of experience in the private sector.
I've been around for a while, and so I've had a great deal of diverse experience. Most of my corporate experience is with Marriott. Ran a number of different businesses for them. The other corporate side of it, just prior to my last business ownership, I ran a $600 million contract service company out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I've always lived in Montgomery County. I myself have never been a part of any governmental agency. All I know is that when I got a call quite a long time ago as to whether I was interested in this, the intent of bringing somebody new in was to bring in private sector experience. That's all I knew at the time. So I came in with one idea, and that was that I'm going to approach it that way and let somebody tell me that that's not how the government works, or that's not how we ought to allow you to do things. The one thing I want to make sure is that I do address things as I would in the private sector. And if that's not how things are done, then I'm going to work hard on trying to get the county government to give us that flexibility to allow us to do that, so we can be responsive and decisive in the issues that you all have. The approach that we're taking is that we've got to earn your business every single day. And then you can probably sit there and go, yeah, sounds good, but is it really going to happen? I only have one perspective on this. I mean, that's the only perspective I come from. And again, I step back, and I know Tom's heard this from me more than once. If all you really wanted was somebody to continue to operate the business the way it's been operated within the government confines and constraints that it has since Prohibition, if that's the way you want it run, why did you go out and look to hire somebody with private sector experience? It makes zero sense unless you value the fact they had that private sector experience and wanted to have that person help you get to the bottom of these issues by actually running it as if it were a business on the street. That is the approach that we're taking. Tom, there's a letter that, again, Tom had given to me the day of my confirmation. But one of the suggestions that Tom has made is that we do a better job in how we train our store people and their knowledge of the product, and how to be managers and how to be clerks and how to be more customer friendly. Take the private sector, your experience, take your knowledge, take what you guys do in your business and apply it to what we ought to be doing. What we ought to be doing is not giving people access to our pricing. Now, what's happening is we're getting suppliers calling up because they've had access for so many years and crying foul, and that's what's going to happen. I mean, they're not going to be happy about it. We have other suppliers who understand it, and then we have a number of suppliers over the last week that have actually come in with stronger deals. They've come in with stronger deals now for fear that they may not get the same opportunity as others down the road because they were not necessarily giving us the strongest deals to begin with. So now what's going to happen, hopefully, is we'll be able to negotiate stronger deals, more appropriate markups, which at the end of the day should provide you lower prices. That's the intent, provide you guys lower prices than what you're paying today. That is the objective. Some of you may also be aware of that in certain locations, there were sort of deals made between our store and the local mom and pop or the local beer and wine store as to who's going to carry what. Why? Because pricing was an issue. That should never be the case. Whoever walks into your business, you should be carrying, at least if there's enough volume, you should be carrying what your customers want you to carry. We should be carrying what our customers want to carry. And without any form of collusion, the marketplace should be competitive. We shouldn't be out there predatory pricing, and you shouldn't be doing either the same. Look, it's to everybody's advantage to be able to be as fully priced as possible. Why? Because you're going to make more money. It's ridiculous to think that we'd want to be any lower price than we have to. But the way our pricing system was set up caused that to happen. So we're trying to, again, to Tom's recommendation about price matching outside of, territories and stuff, we just need to be sure we're on sound ground, and we're continuously making changes now in our spirits pricing to get us to where we need to be absolutely competitive with what's going on in DC, outside of Montgomery County, PG County, and wherever else.
Many of you have had shortages I've talked to, different times, and sometimes we've had to call and try and get some intervention.
Right.
This weekend I'm talking to the owner of Four Corners Pub, and he says, and he couldn't come this morning, but he would have asked if he was here. He said, why is there still product availability issues? He said, last month we were hearing we couldn't get Newcastle for a month. And this isn't some seasonal microbrew, product from the Northwest. This is Newcastle. So do you have any thoughts on how you're addressing that and why that would happen?
No, other than I wish they had contacted us directly, and if they did and didn't get an appropriate response. But I mean, we just shouldn't be out of things that are available locally.
Right.
Most of the issues that we've had with out of stocks have been with special order items. What has happened is we've lowered the threshold on what goes from special order to stock. Okay, used to be 130 cases a year. As long as we sold 130 cases or more a year, we'd carry it in stock. Gotcha. Now it's 65. So as long as an item sells at least 65 cases in an entire year, it's going into stock. So whereas before, you never knew when it was going to come into the DLC. In some cases, we never knew when it was going to come in because it was coming from California or wherever else it was coming in on a common carrier, which we had no control over the transportation. Now those same items we're going to carry on a regular basis. So it's going to be a lot less of an issue for you in getting those special order items that are now stock items, and you're going to get them when you order them, as opposed to having waiting for days and weeks in order to get them. So we're trying to solve that problem too. We're looking at every single piece of this business and breaking it down and saying, if I were a business and had a choice, would I want to do business? My job is to turn it around, and not only turn it around, but have Montgomery County be the model